Like a Subaru hater to now being like a Subaru fanboy.
Yeah, there's love, there's hate, lies and games, faith.
All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. And this video is going to go into detail explaining about how I went from being a Subaru hater to being a Subaru fanboy, pretty much. All right, so let's get into this one now. It all started way back in like 2011, 2012, I believe. And you know, I was kind of doing my thing, running the streets with. I had a Mazda Speed 3. So I had this Mazda Speed 3. It was a 20. I think at that time I had a black 2010 Mazda Speed 3, and I had dumped about like $8,000 into it. You know, modded it and stuff. Just full bolt-on type deals. But that thing was fast and it was beating people left and right, left and right. Like I even have a clip of me. Actually, no, I have a clip of it beating Pontiac GTO in a run, like way back when, So I'll put that clip here so you guys can see. But anyway, the thing was fast, right? It was real fast, and then eventually my cousin really wanted it, so I went ahead and I sold that one to him. And at the time, I was with my wife. She was my girlfriend then, but I was with my wife, and we were thinking like we wanted to start a family and stuff. So at the time, I went and I bought a Venza, and I'm driving a Venza, and then we realized we're not just ready to start a family yet. So I was like, all right, let me go back and get another car. So I went and I got another Mazda Speed 3. It was a 2012 Mazda Speed 3. And I did the same thing. I dropped about like 8,000 in full bolt-ons, had that thing running. And the people that did the work didn't do like really good work on it. And I blew that motor, and then eventually went big turbo. And it was like, I think it was a 3071R turbo. So it wasn't like the biggest, but it was like a medium-sized turbo for that build. And yeah, so I'm enjoying that car, having fun, back to the same thing, just beating people left and right, out at the track, right? So we're running people, winning races, having fun. Then I meet Wolverine. And Wolverine, aka Richard, so we met up at like a rim shop because I was getting some stuff. I was like, I'll show you a picture of what that white Mazda Speed looked like right here. So yeah, so if you guys know that Mazda Speed came with like 263 horsepower stock, but by the time when I met Richard, mine was roughly around like 300 wheel, or no, it was 380 wheel horsepower at that time. Yeah, by the time I met him. And and I'm switching up the wheels and stuff, and I really enjoyed that car, right? So I'm having fun with it. I also bought a Mazda 6 at the time, so the Mazda 6 was my daily. Then I had the Mazda Speed 3 as my fun car, and I'm enjoying life. Life is going great. I think at that time, just did like a basic tune or something to his he had a Subaru WRX STI at the time, and we went on a couple runs, and I beat him easily. It's like blah blah blah, no easy work, right? And he keeps modding his, and I think he was getting pro tuned and stuff. I just had like a modified off the shelf tune. Like it was like off the shelf, but somebody modified it for the big turbo setup. So it wasn't like really dialed in the way it should have been. But I'm racing this guy, beating him easily, beating his friends, beating people left and right, and I'm having fun. And then the person that had did the build on my Mazda Speed 3, they kind of messed it up. And then that motor blows because they just didn't do a good job building it. I'm not even going to name them or anything, but they didn't do a good job building it. And so I then take it to some professionals, some people that I was really close with, TR3 Performance, And I invite all my friends to go there. And to this day, if you need anything performance done, go check out TR3 Performance. So we're at TR3 Performance, and I am now like talking to the tuner there, and I'm like, hey, listen, you know, this Mazda Speed 3, it went through 2 bad shops, and I finally want to get it done right by you guys. You know, what are your suggestions and stuff? And they're like, okay, we got you. And we start going over options. And in the middle of us going over options, guess who pops up over there at Performance Shop? Wolverine. Wolverine pops up with he basically pops up cradling something in his hand that looks like a baby. And when he reveals it, it's a big turbo. It's a Garrett 35R, the big boy turbo. And he basically tells me like he's about to mod his Subaru WRX STI with that turbo. So that's where the hate kind of began, because like I test drove a WRX before. I test drove a WRX STI, and I preferred the way my Mazda Speed 3 drove. Actually, no, I enjoyed the way the WRX drove. I did not like the way how the WRX STI drove. And for me, ultimately, I liked the way how my Mazda Speed 3 felt. But anyway, that's where the hate began, because like then, I asked my tuner, I was like, hey, listen, what can we do to beat, his 35R turbo? What can we do to beat this, now that he's got it? And dude was like, nothing, get a new car. And I'm like, damn, okay. So got rid of both the Mazda 6 and the Mazda Speed 3, and I went out and I got a 2013 Camaro SS 1LE, drove that around for a while, tuned it, and raced Richard, got clapped up. He beat me in that easily, right? I went and I got friends to try and beat him. He's beating all of them. He's beating AMG Mercedes. He's beating like turbo cars, supercharged cars. It didn't matter. He was just beating everybody. And now I'm like, dang, man, like, what can I do? So then eventually I get a 2016 Camaro SS. He claps that up. I got a 2019 Golf R. He clapped that up. I mean, it was just like, no matter what I threw at him, he was beating it. And I was just like, all right, let me see. If you can't beat him, join him. Let me see what this whole Subi game is like. So I bought a 2019 Subaru WRX STI. And it's like, I enjoyed it. It was fun, it was dry, but it was a very difficult car to drive, and it still is. It's like, it's very mechanical, very old school, and not as fun, because if you make a mistake in that car, you're gonna cut off or something, you're not gonna get everything just right. Like it's a difficult car to drive. So, and then, then I was worried about like, if you mod it, you could have head gasket issues and all that stuff. So I was like, I got out of that, went back to Camaro, and there's a bunch of cars that I'm skipping in between, because like I bought a bunch of cars. I bought like an X-Runner, a supercharged X-Runner in between that time, and another CX-5, and a Golf R, and I went crazy for a little bit, just searching, trying to find cars to beat his Subaru WRX STI. And mind you, at this point now, like he's I think around, at this point, he's like 700 horsepower on that WRX STI. So I'm trying to find like supercars to beat him, and he's clapping up supercars. He's just beating people left and right, every way you can think about it, and not losing. So he was like the king of the crew. That's the thing that we have. We got the whole king of the crew. By the way, shout out to our crew, the RCF crew. Shout out to Anna. Today's Anna's birthday, so happy birthday, Anna. All right, so shout out to Anna. Y'all go check her out, Anna Jalisa on Instagram. I believe she's also on TikTok too. And shout out to the Men of Culture. Shout out to 100 Gang Nate, to the Cuda Chaotic, Blueprint 1LE, and of course us, Race Car Friends. Go to racecarfriends.com, cop the merch, all right, get the driver mod. So yeah, so for years, I was like the king of the crew in my Mazda Speed 3s, and now he just snatched the crown in his WRX STI, and he's the king of the crew, Wolverine is, right? So, like I said, I'm throwing cars against him, he's just winning. And then like, I didn't fully enjoy the 2019 STI. And I'll show you guys a little clip. This is the 2019 STI here. And yeah, so I wasn't really enjoying it as much as I would enjoy the Camaros and stuff like that. And then eventually I decided to team my 2021 Camaro SS1 Elite right alongside with the 2021 Subaru WRX STI. That car I did enjoy. I felt like that car was a little bit more refined than the 2019. So the 2021 Subaru WRX STI, I enjoyed that car a lot. I did start modding it, and then when I started seeing about how expensive it was to mod, I was like, oh man, like I felt myself going down that money pit. And now I'm married, I got 3 kids, and I'm just like, yeah, maybe this is not the best move. So I decided to trade that in for a truck and be more responsible and stuff like that. And so eventually I had my truck and my Camaro SS1 Elite, and I was basically just enjoying the cars for me and stuff like that. But then I decided, you know what, this guy's been king for too long, man. Let me do something crazy. So that's what made me went out and get this Honda Civic Type R. And the Honda Civic Type R reminds me a lot of the Mazda Speed 3, but way more potential. So that, I'm gonna be doing some things to try to snatch the crown from him for that. Hold on. Hey, Charles. I'm in the middle of shooting a video. Can I call you right back? All right, guys, sorry about that. That was an important call. I had to take that call. But yeah, so basically just to sum it up, I've had a 2019 Subaru WRX STI. I sort of enjoyed that. It took me a while to kind of get used to that, but it just, I don't know, just the feel of the 2019 just wasn't really what I was looking for. And then I got spoiled with the 2019 Golf R. That was just like an amazing car for me. I love the way that's probably one of the best driving cars that I've driven up until I drove this. Now, I enjoy all-wheel drive cars. So I just love the grip that you get from them. And to me, out of all the cars that I've owned, like all the rear wheel drives, front wheel drives, all wheel drives, this 2023 Subaru WRX is one of the best cars I've ever driven. Like from the way it drives, the way it handles, the way there's grip in every gear, the shifter. Like, by the way, I gotta change out the shift knob. That's coming. I got a whole bunch of mods planned for this, and the thing that makes this car so special to me personally is that it's super fun to drive, it's comfortable, a lot of technology, a lot of fun things that everything, from the sunroof to the built-in navigation to silly little things, being able to check your tire pressure, from the light that lights up when you go near it to the symmetrical all-wheel drive. It's just like, it fits me perfectly. It's a great car. And then what puts it over the top is 2 things actually. It's the tuning capability for this, because with just like a intake, exhaust, and tune, this car is running like 11s, and with the right tune and blend, like an E-blend, it could be running 10s. So that's incredible to me. Like, you can take something like this and have it running 10s and a quarter mile with basic bolt-ons. So that's one. But the final thing that put it over the top, and I think that really made me a Subaru fanboy, I guess you would call me now, is the community. Like, I've never experienced a car community like the Subaru community, and that's really like what puts it over top. Like, don't get me wrong, the Honda community, I'm new to the Honda gang, but they're showing a lot of love, and I'm starting to see why people, like, there's lifelong Honda buyers and stuff like that, but I really understand why there's lifelong Subaru buyers, because the dealership, from the salespeople to the finance person to the people in service, the service manager. Shout out to Subaru Melbourne, by the way. They got some of the best service, period. Like, they treat me really well. Also, shout out to Subaru Pembroke Pines. They also look out for me. I bought my 2021 Subaru WRX STI from them, and those are 2 great dealerships. But I've had nothing but great experiences with the dealerships, with the service, with the community when we meet up. Like, they're always willing to help you and talk to you about everything. And just when you drive, and it didn't even have to be like a WRX or STI or anything, any other Subaru person, they'll see you and they gave you the Subi wave and stuff. It's just like, man, there's so many things about that Subaru community that just makes it worth it for me. It feels like, I can't even really explain it. It's just such an amazing community that you won't really understand it until you get a Subaru and you're part of that community. Like, it's just amazing. So you combine the community with the all-wheel drive, one of the best all-wheel drives, period, and the potential of this and how much fun it is to drive. Right now, for me, and I've owned Camaro SS 1LEs, I've owned regular SSs, I've owned Mazda Speed 3s, I've owned Mazda 6s, I've owned Mazda CX-5s, I've owned Toyota Tundras, I've owned Toyota Tacomas, I've owned X-Runners, I've owned Camrys, I've owned a bunch of different cars. I've owned Volkswagens, Jettas, as well as the Golf R. Like, I've even owned Volvos. Like, I've owned a bunch of different cars, and to me, by far, this 2023 Subaru WRX is like one of my favorite because it just seems to do everything well. Yes, it's not the best looking, but I have mods. I have mods coming. Relax. We got things that we're going to do. We're going to have some fun with this. So I already told you guys my goal is to get this Type R to be like a 200 mile per hour car. We're going to work on that. That's going to be one of the goals that we're going to make with that car. And with this, my goal is to get this to basically beat whatever car everybody else in the MOC gets. This car, I wanted to beat it, and eventually I wanted to beat Wolverine as well. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, I know that Q to Chaotic just got a GR Corolla. Shout out to you, Q to Chaotic. 100K Nate has the Civic Type R like me, and he's going to be getting something else soon too. We all know that Blueprint 1LE has his Camaro SS 1LE. He dropped like 14 grand making that thing faster. He's still going to get clapped up by this, but we'll get to that point. But yeah, so that's my goal, is to make this one of the fastest cars in the crew, and we're going to see how that goes. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope this explains how I went from being like a Subaru hater to now being like a Subaru fanboy. I hope you guys saw the whole journey, as I was describing it. Hopefully I did a good job explaining it. And I hope you guys continue to rock with all of us, because we all got some fun content coming. We're going to be meeting up with One Motivation and a bunch of other YouTubers and stuff. We're going to be traveling. We're going to be doing some travel vlogs. And just stay tuned. We have some fun things coming. All right, man, bugs are starting to come out. It's getting late. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And with that, Race Car Friends out.